In this video, I want to introduce you to radical expressions. These are expressions that contain radicals. Remember that you can have square roots, you can have cube roots, fourth roots, fifth roots, and on and on. Okay, you can also have variables in your radical expressions. Let me now give you some examples. The square root of 2, the square root of x, the cube root of x plus 1, the square root of 7 minus x. Okay? Now, just like with rational expressions, sometimes there's certain values that you can't evaluate the expression for. You can't, in other words, you can't replace the variable with certain values and expect to get something that's defined. The problem when we looked at rational expressions was that we can't divide by 0. The issue here that's going to limit the domain, that's going to limit the set of allowed values, in other words, is that we can't take the square root of a negative number. Okay, we can't take, we can take the square root of 0, but we can't take the square root of a negative number. Sometimes people get confused about whether you can take the square root of 0. That's perfectly fine. It just can't be negative. All right? So for the second rational expression, the domain is all values x greater than or equal to 0. Right? Now, for the third radical expression, can you figure out the domain of that one? Okay, now that was a trick question because you can take the cube root of negative numbers. Some roots you can take the root of negative numbers, but square roots is not one of them. So this one's fine for negative numbers, so the domain is all values of x, however you want to express that. Okay? And then let's close this video by trying to find the domain of the fourth, of the last radical expression. So go ahead and pause the video and try that now. Okay, I'll go ahead and solve it. We know that 7 minus x must be greater than or equal to 0, so the last problem reduces to solving an inequality. Let me add x to both sides. So x has to be less than or equal to 7. All right? Probably nicer if you write it this way, and so that is our solution for that one. You can try plugging in a value. For example, what is a number less than 7, less than or equal to 7? How about 0? So the original radical expression reduces to the square root of 7 minus 0, which is acceptable.